All right, I don't know how often I can say this. For a Wednesday, this could be a ridiculously goofy thing. I'm usually grown up on Wednesdays, but I got two options here. It's Teleforum. You can see its weirdness because I got an email yesterday from Dale Reckless, MRS Physical Therapy, that said, wear something comfy, we're going to do stuff. I'm paraphrasing. But Dale Reckless from MRS Physical Therapy is here. And Kelly, tell me your last name, McKinnon? McCarron.
Yep, hi.
Like the old Alabama quarterback, Scott McCarron.
Absolutely.
That's how I'll remember that.
That's it, yep.
Okay, what are we talking about today that I was required to stretch beforehand?
We're going to talk about one of our programs at MRS Physical Therapy and Cranberry Physical Therapy. It's called Home Office Ergonomic Assessments.
Oh, I bet that exists a ton more now than it did
It's a ton more.
2 years ago.
Yep, we're going to talk about why it's so important we developed the program and what that program means. So it's called Home Office Ergonomic Assessment.
Okay.
So home office, we can all figure out what that's going on right now.
The room you don't let the kids in.
A lot of us are now working from home. That's
Yeah.
changed a lot over the last couple of years. And it's actually changed what we're seeing in doctors' offices and physical therapy offices as far as different diagnoses that we're seeing a
Is
lot
it really?
more of now. Absolutely. So how this all started is about a year and a half ago, a doctor from Genesis Medical called me up, Dr. Mark Woodburn, and said, Dale, I have an influx of these patients with neck and low back pain, and I think it's come from them working from home now. And I'd like you to think about developing a program that can help these patients out. So, of course, we jumped on it and said, absolutely, let's put our heads together and come up with a program. So we came up with the Home Office Ergonomic Assessment Program. And it's a multi-component program. We're going to talk about all the different components. I brought Kelly in today as an expert in talking about the home assessment component. And we'll also talk about some of the exercise that we do to help out with the program as well from a physical therapy, and Kelly's an occupational therapist from the occupational therapy standpoint. So the home office...
Break down before we go further. What's the difference between physical therapy and occupational therapy?
There's
What's
some
she going to make me do that you wouldn't, and vice versa?
Yeah, there's some subtle differences. There's
Okay.
a lot of crossovers as well. So if you go into a clinic, not a lot of clinics have both PTs and OTs. So that's one of the things that we have at MRS Physical Therapy and Cranberry Physical Therapy that sets us apart. Is that we have both physical therapy and occupational therapy. So there are some crossover similarities, but there's also a lot of differences between what the two professionals do. So having both the physical therapist and the occupational therapist working together for you is going to give you your best outcome, because you're coming from a little bit of differences as far as what we do and how we do things to come to your ultimate goal of recovering with full recovery.
All right, I want to remind people, if you're listening to this, that's wonderful. If you want to watch this, this is being live Facebook streamed right now. Dale Reckless is my guest, and Kelly McCarron is my guest. And what do you want me to do? I hate asking you that because it can get weird with you.
We will get to making you do something. But let's talk a little bit more about the program and what it is so the listeners understand, and those who are watching on Facebook Live, you'll get a good demonstration as well. If you're not watching on Facebook Live, go ahead and check into Facebook, because what you see will help out a lot in addition to what we'll try to talk you through it, but the visual really helps out a lot. So if you watch this on Facebook Live, that's going to really help you out as well. So it's called Home Office Ergonomic Assessment. So home office, that makes sense, but what is ergonomics? That's a word that not a lot of people are familiar with.
I had to learn that word in school, and I learned it long enough to get it right on a quiz.
What do you remember?
Oh, very little after that. I celebrated passing the quiz. It's designed around the function of the body. Ergonomically designed means it's designed to fit your body correctly.
That's
Is that close?
That's a great term. So it's the study of a person's efficiency in their work environment.
Okay.
So we do ergonomics. We've been doing ergonomics for a long time, but most of the ergonomics that we've been doing at Cranberry Physical Therapy and MRS Physical Therapy have been in the office environment. Okay. So it's been in the office environment. We go into, so for example, we have a contract with Frito-Lay. So we work with the distribution center for Frito-Lay, and we
Do you get free chips?
You'd think I'd get a lot of free chips, but
You don't get free chips?
I don't get free chips.
I'm sorry,
But
go
what
ahead.
we do is we go in and we help out, make sure that their employees are safe in their work environment and they're doing things properly.
You're talking about lifting with your knee, that
Lifting,
kind
pushing,
of stuff.
pulling, that
Okay.
kind of stuff. We do that with Papa John's as well. We assess their workers to make sure that they can lift properly to do their jobs. We don't get free pizza either, but we work with Papa John's
I
employees.
was just biting my lip.
And we go into office environments as well. But what's happened now is the office environment has now been brought to home. So secondary to COVID, the office environment for a lot of people is now in their home. Even now, some people are going into the office maybe a couple days a week, but there aren't that many people that are going back in full throttle 5 days a week anymore.
True.
A lot of what we're doing is now from home. And so we want to make sure that home environment is going to be conducive and ergonomically appropriate so they're not getting this low back pain and neck pain that we've been seeing an influx of over the last couple of years.
Is it something that people weren't aware of, that their furniture, their chairs are different, and 8 hours a day in one chair, it's a different type of chair? I mean, I know I'm super simplifying it by talking about one chair.
Yeah, people aren't aware that, they used to go to the office, and it wasn't just going to the office, but, you parked your car and you walked into the office. You got up and you took breaks. You walked to the cafeteria for lunch. You were moving around a lot more when you were in the office.
Okay.
Now you're in your home environment, and now your bed that you slept in for 8 hours, now that's your 8 hours of, your work time as well. Or your kitchen chair, your couch. Instead of coming home and relaxing for an hour after work,
with the laptop on
that
your
is
lap.
now your 8 hours a day of your work environment, and that's where we're seeing the problems caused from. Neck pain, low back issues come from poor ergonomic setup, and that's what we're going to demonstrate with Kelly here with you today. Is examples of what poor ergonomic setup is, and the little things, and it doesn't take a lot, it's not really complicated, but it does take a professional to help assess those things. What makes a better ergonomic setup, what takes the stress and strain off your neck, stress and strain off your low back, so that when you're sitting in the home environment, some little pointers and tips that we're going to give you today that's going to help you out to reduce neck pain and reduce low back pain.
How often is posture a root issue?
Posture is huge. Posture is one of the key things. Right. In addition, we're also going to be talking about some exercises, which are postural exercises that you can do at home to reduce some of the neck pain and strain. And we tell people you usually should be getting up and moving around about every 45 minutes to an hour, just to give yourself some little mini stretch breaks and little mini breaks for your body. And we're going to be demonstrating, if we have time at the end, a couple of those simple exercises you can do on your own at home. If you're watching on Facebook Live, it's going to be a great way for you to see some simple exercises you can do to reduce postural stresses that occur through the course of your workday, especially when you're working from home.
How big a deal was this out of the blue? Because going back, we're coming up on 2 years, March 2020, the world went from everybody going somewhere to everybody sitting around. And once it was realized, all right, we're not getting back anytime soon, that's when the work from home became prevalent.
Yeah, so the work from home came pretty quick. The postural stress is that it's not like a light switch. It doesn't happen immediately.
Right.
It more happens over the course of a period of time. So we're actually seeing a buildup of it more and more as time goes on, as the amount of time is spent working from home has increased. We're seeing an increase in the neck and low back pain that correlates to the amount of time that you've been spending at home as well. So it's not like all of a sudden you sat down on your couch for 8 hours. It's sitting on the couch for 8 hours, day after day, week after week, month after month, and now the body's starting to break down and the body's starting to show these stressors. And the stressors can come out in different ways. Sometimes it's very specific pain to a localized area.
My lower back hurts.
Yep. Sometimes it's a very specific area that I can pinpoint and put my finger on and say, this is where it hurts, and the patient says yes. Sometimes it's radiating pain. So you have symptoms down your shoulders, into your wrists, down your legs, down the back of your leg. You can develop sciatica issues where the pain actually radiates. It feels like burning, numbness, tingling, those kind of sensations, versus a sharp, achy pain that's more localized typically.
It's tingly and hot, and it feels weak.
Yeah. So those kind of what we call disky kind of symptoms is when the discs of your neck and your low back are starting to become affected and can give you radiating symptoms down your arms or down your legs. And that's a big deal. That's a lot harder to deal with than a localized pain. It's still correctable. We can a lot of times fix that through physical and occupational therapy, but a lot of what we're talking about now is preventing getting that to that point. We don't want you to get to that point where your disc becomes an issue. We want to be preventive in nature, talk to you about how you can properly modify your home work assessment area, as well as do some simple exercises to prevent chronic issues that'll come down the road.
Is it tougher to get people to do that, especially occupational therapy? Most of the time, if an OT gets called, there's an issue that got pointed out. Is it tougher to get people to understand preventative can save a lot of
It is
problems?
tougher because
Yeah.
we get called out usually after the fact.
Right.
But when people start to not be able to do the things that they love every day, that's really when an OT it gets called too as well. So it's tough to button your shirt, or it's tough to put a jacket on, or driving your car, you can't see over your shoulder. So I see a lot of, personally, elbow injuries, tricep, radiating pain. I see a lot of carpal tunnel, what we call radial cubital tunnel.
Okay.
And also, Dale sees a lot of what's called thoracic outlet, where you kind of trap the nerves here and you get this radiating pain. So when they can't start doing functional things, we kind of jump into action.
What
and
causes
treat them.
the elbow? The angles are different
Yeah,
because the height
and
of the chair or the height of the table?
It is, and
people-
sometimes you lean your elbows, and you know how when you hit your funny bone and you feel that radiating buzz?
You say that bad word?
Buzz?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
and you
yeah.
say that bad word. Well,
Different bad
imagine
word.
feeling that every day, all the time. And so we have people like that, and they see their doctor, they can't shake it, they do a lot of shaking their limbs out, and it doesn't help.
If you've got that issue, what's the first thing they're going to do? They're going to run an X-ray and maybe an MRI, right?
Yeah, not typically an MRI.
I mean, if the
they
X-ray
will
doesn't
do it
show,
if it's
wouldn't that
bad
be the
enough.
next- okay.
They look for compressions of what's called your ulnar nerve, which is in your elbow.
Yep.
And then they also can do what we call provocative testing, where they're...
What is that, where they test you on talking saucy?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Exactly.
You're overselling whatever's about to get described, I think. with that
Provocative
title.
testing, let
Yeah.
me just tell you, it's
All
a
right.
test that they do that elicits symptoms. If it elicits symptoms, they know something's
Okay.
going on. So
Okay.
carpal tunnel, we see a ton of people
What would a test be for carpal tunnel? They'd sit and
tingling,
have you
putting
type?
your hands together,
Okay.
flexed wrists, putting your hands together if that
Now,
elicits
see, Dale, this
some
isn't bad.
tingling.
You're
Yeah.
not touching
Oh,
my
this
feet
is
like the
easy.
last time we
No,
did
this
this.
is
So
good.
these are called special tests that we do. Both the physical
Yes.
therapist and the occupational therapist have a
Right.
number of special tests that are specific to different joints and nerve issues.
Yes.
Should
And
this
so
be
these-
hurting or not hurting?
You might, if you had carpal tunnel, you would probably feel tingling here, 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 and half of this finger. Some tingling or some
Why
discomfort
does the
or
pinky
numbness.
get left out?
The pinky's another nerve, and half of this is another nerve. That's your funny bone.
Okay.
Yeah. So
All right.
3.5 fingers for your carpal tunnel. Also, a lot of wrist flexion. We see a lot of repetitive, so people who type all day,
Yeah.
people who look at a monitor all day, people who do the same thing all day. Those are the ones.
I want to ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the braces that were all the rage for people that typed? Were those helpful at all, or was that
Yeah.
just something to look cool at work?
While typing, no. The big myth is that you should put your wrists
should-
on a
yes.
wrist rest, and
Sure,
really they
yeah.
should be free.
All right.
They should be free. The determining factor, the best thing you can do for yourself is keep them at a particular angle, which we'll talk about.
Okay.
But I have to tell you, those braces, a lot of times your symptoms get a lot worse at night when you're in bed. Of course, overnight, you can't
Because
sleep.
the stability's no longer there, and your body gets...
And you're leaning in different ways.
Right.
You know, you can't always control how you sleep. So if you turn your neck a certain way, or you're using your hands a certain way, or you're leaning on your elbow a certain way, the splints help alleviate some of that so you
Right.
can get some sleep at night.
Okay, we've got about 2 minutes. That's not enough time to get me set up like a guinea pig, is it?
No, we'll after the break.
We'll do
during
it.
the break, we'll get you set up. So when the
Okay.
viewers come back, we'll go into the assessment, so the viewers can see what we see a lot with poor home setup, and we're going to show you how to correct that setup to make it more appropriate. Now, I want viewers to keep in mind that a lot of the recommendations we're going to make are easy to do. You'll have the stuff around the house to help set up. There are also things that you can purchase, but we try not to make this an expensive thing. We don't want you to feel like you have to go out and buy, a lot of extra equipment. There certainly is equipment that you can buy, and we make those recommendations as well,
Okay.
as things like sit-to-stand desks and things that allow you.
And the flip top where you have to stand up to...
So it allows you to
who's gonna
change
do that,
positions from
Dale?
sitting in.
They're automated now. You just push a button.
No, I
and they-
understand the
yeah.
automated part, but who's going to stand when they have the option to sit?
I do it in my office all the
Me
time.
too, yeah.
I have a sit-stand desk because you want to change positions. Think about motion as lotion.
Okay,
you want to keep
I'm
moving.
sorry.
You want to keep your body moving, okay? So the
Okay.
problem is sitting for long periods of time in a very specific position. And the more you can move in and out of those different positions throughout the course of your day, the better your body's going to be.
That makes more sense. I'm thinking of somebody standing all day, and that's not what you're talking about. You're talking about changing it up.
Changing the option throughout the day, where you sit for a little bit, then you stand for a little
Every
bit, and you
20
go back and
minutes.
forth through those sit-to-stand desks. They're really helpful. They're not real expensive. You can find some low expensive items, and we'll make those recommendations for you as well.
The cool ones where you press the button and they go up, they're
Yeah.
expensive.
Those are
I know those.
You add a motor on those; those are a
Yeah.
little bit more expensive. But I go to Costco and I see some inexpensive items at Costco, which 2 years ago you didn't see these things at Costco, but now all of a sudden you're seeing these items because they are very specific to helping you in the work from home environment.
All right, Dale Reckless is my guest. Kelly McCarron is my guest. If you work from home, and it's a relatively new thing to you, you don't want to miss the second half of this. We'll be back talking to ergonomics is the word, right?
Ergonomics.
Ergonomics. We'll be back talking ergonomics after news on Teleforum.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
Ice and snow on the roads can sometimes mean hazardous driving conditions. Canoes Body Works in Freedom reminds you to use extra caution during the winter season. If you have the misfortune of a run-in with a guardrail, or you get stopped by something other than your brakes, make your car as good as Gnu. Call Gnu's Body Works today at 724-770-1121. Remember, if the weather is calling for snow and ice, you might be calling Gnu's Body Works, a full-service auto collision and custom restoration facility in Freedom. You're listening to Beaver County Radio, 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls and 1460 WMBA Ambridge, broadcasting live from the St. Barnabas studios.
I just love my Tyler Mountain Waterman.
That's something I hear all the time. Hi, I'm Matthew Jones with Tri-State Waters, and we deliver everywhere in the Tri-State area. From North Swickley to South Heights, from East Liverpool to West Mayfield, we deliver. We even deliver to the island. Well, Neville Island, that is. No matter what direction your home or business is in, we'll deliver and let you fall in love with your waterman too. Call Tri-State Waters at 724-774-4644.
This is Mike Rubino, Executive Director of the United Way of Beaver County. Did you know that during the pandemic, the United Way of Beaver County distributed over $1 million to local charities? Charities like the Salvation Army, the Beaver County Women's Center, the Beaver County Association for the Blind, the Cancer Heart Association, the YMCA, Catholic Charities, and Meals on Wheels. Over 50 local nonprofits received funds that were raised by the Beaver County United Way. These charities continue to work tirelessly to help those less fortunate in our area, and the need is greater than ever, and we need your help. Thanks to an anonymous donor and several local businesses, any donation received this spring will be doubled dollar for dollar. So now is the time to give. Please visit www.unitedwaybeaver.org to learn more and make your donation. Double your gift to help your Beaver County neighbor. Please donate. www.unitedwaybeaver.org. Thank you for your support.
Highmark Blue Cross, Blue Shield, and Allegheny Health Network are pleased to present a new show on Beaver County Radio called Heroes. Tune in every Saturday at 10 and Sunday at 12:30 for Heroes, a wonderful half-hour segment hosted by Jim Roddy that profiles many of the local heroes in this community. Click highmark.com for more information and then tune in for Heroes this Saturday at 10 and again Sunday at 12:30 on WBVP WMBA and 99.3 FM.
Beaver County Radio's news source, 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com. Here's Frank Sparks.
And good morning, as it's going to be a beautiful late winter day here in Beaver County. Mostly sunny throughout the day. High's going to be up to 56 degrees. We'll have a complete Beaver County radio weather forecast coming up for you right after we have this look at news. A fatal crash happened this morning around 3 a.m. that had the westbound lanes of the Pennsylvania Turnpike closed between Cranberry and Newcastle. The accident happened at mile marker number 20 in New Swickley Township. Pennsylvania State Police are reporting that 2 tractor trailers and a box truck were involved in the crash, as well as a pedestrian, that 1 person was killed. Police believe the pedestrian was along the shoulder of the roadway when a tractor trailer struck them. They were then hit by other vehicles. Beaver County Radio News correspondent Curtis Walsh is reporting that he spoke to Freedom Area Schools Superintendent Diane Workman yesterday afternoon regarding the student actions that took place during a varsity basketball game against New Brighton last Friday night. Workman confirmed the district has identified multiple people involved at different levels in the incident. When asked how many people, the superintendent declined to answer, stating that the investigation is ongoing. At the New Brighton Area School Board meeting on Monday night, Dr. Joseph Garino stated that Freedom had identified some of the perpetrators and are handling it from a disciplined standpoint within their district. Workman said that Freedom took it seriously and we were sorry it happened. During the varsity basketball game last Friday night at Freedom, organized chants were typed on paper and demonstrated against New Brighton players, including one that involved the player's deceased father. The Beaver County Partnership, along with Johns Hopkins University and the Community Catalyst Partners, partnered for a study conducted by Johns Hopkins University that looked at what education will look like in Beaver County in 2030. The Beaver County Partnership, that was formed in 2016, started the research in 2018, and in 2020, they handed the study over to the researchers at Johns Hopkins University. Those results were released yesterday. The study focused on 5 factors: economic and job growth, desirable housing, quality of place, good government, and quality education. Now, Stephen Ross, the director of the Center for Research and Reform in Education at Johns Hopkins University, headed up the study, and he said the results showed enrollments in nearly all 14 school districts have declined in the county, as well as overall population. Compared to the benchmarking communities examined, Beaver County had the lowest ratio of local total funding. Compared to 4 other PA districts, Beaver County also had the lowest proportion of total spending for instruction. Revenues increased less than expenditures for 6 districts. Clear inequities existed across districts in financial health, and the community perceptions about Beaver County said that they were positive about the county. It's a safe and pleasant place to live, but the citizens polled were concerned about the capacity of small school districts to provide cutting-edge and comprehensive programming, inequities in education opportunities across the districts, and the ability of Beaver County to attract and keep younger families relative to wealthier neighboring counties. You can see the complete results of the study by going to our website at beavercountyradio.com. There's also 5 town halls that are coming up that they're encouraging Beaver County residents to participate in. Those dates and times, as well as the Zoom meetings, are on our website at beavercountyradio.com. Chesapeake Bay states have until 2025 to implement practices to reduce watershed pollution, and a new report shows climate-smart farming can help prevent farm runoff. Emily Scott has more.
In the Chesapeake Bay Clean Water Blueprint, roughly 80% of the remaining pollution reduction must come from agriculture, and Pennsylvania is the furthest behind among the Bay states. The Chesapeake Bay Foundation report says implementing regenerative farming practices, from rotational grazing to planting forest buffers along streams, can reduce animal waste and soil erosion. Bill Chain with the foundation says Pennsylvania has a lot of farm conservation work to do.
Farmers are ready to adopt conservation practices, but need funding. Both the state and federal conservation funding fall woefully short of what's necessary to make that investment with family farms in improving water quality.
He says one step the state could take is to establish an agricultural conservation assistance program, which would fund best management practices like planting streamside trees and cover crops. I'm Emily Scott.
Here's the Beaver County forecast on 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com.
Partly sunny skies today with a high of 56 degrees. Overnight tonight, chance of rain showers after 2 a.m. Low's going to be down to 47. Tomorrow, showers, high 59 degrees. Then on Friday, a chance of morning snow showers. High will be 32 degrees. Saturday, mostly sunny with a high of 34. And Sunday, mostly sunny. High is going to be up to 52 degrees. That is a look at the news for now. I'm Frank Sparks, Beaver County Radio News, 95.7 and 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and beavercountyradio.com.
I'm going to start from the beginning with
It's
lighting.
1230 WBVP, it's 1460 WMBA, it's 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, Kelly's reared up and fine and ready to go. I'm with Dale Reckless and Kelly McCarran from MRS Physical Therapy. This is being live broadcast, obviously, but it's also being live Facebook streamed. And this is where, if you can do the Facebook stream, this is where visuals come in. And Kelly was already getting it set up, and they set me down during the news. Dale came over and was bending me like you used to bend your little Gumby pokey
In
toy.
a knot.
Yeah, just back. So I am sitting. I'm a prop at this point.
You're a prop of a typical patient, what we see when we do these assessments as far as how a person's sitting and the positioning that causes a lot of the low back and neck issues.
And the assessment is, this is something, it's not new, but it's something that's huge. It's coming from people that never worked from home before that are working from home.
Yep.
Things change.
That's right.
All right. So I'm being productive.
Okay.
All right.
So the first thing you want to think about is the lighting. And I know this isn't something that everyone thinks about, but a lot of people work at their tables or their desks in natural light during the day.
This seems extremely bright.
This is bright lighting. Now, some people can withstand fluorescence, but I will tell you, over time, these are going to give you a glare on your screen that you do not want.
Okay.
So typically what you want to do is you want to eliminate the glare. You want to light with a dimmer control or just a small lamp for supplemental task lighting. So you want to reduce the direct sunlight, not by opening your blinds, but actually by closing your blinds while you're working in your environment during the day. And you always want a non-glare screen overlay that you can just lay over the screen of your computer.
That's not just a rip-off to get another 12 bucks
It
out of you?
isn't. It's a blue light, and it reduces glare and less stress on your eyes. You also can buy the blue light specs at Costco.
Wait, so it's
Or Sam's
there
or
are glasses
anywhere.
that have blue light shining?
No, they have a blue light film.
Filter?
Yes,
Film.
a filter.
Okay.
And
All
you
right.
can get them in non-prescription or as readers, and you can wear them to reduce the glare on your screen, which is, I have 3 or 4 pair.
I'm going to ask a stupid question. Wouldn't it be easier just to change the tint on the screen once than to keep track of glasses?
You can.
You can do that
Yeah.
too, right?
That's why I have
Okay.
a pair in every room, because I never know where they're at.
Yep.
So, yes. What you don't want is the sunlight behind you, and you don't want the sunlight directly in front of you. So you
Okay.
don't want to be facing a window, and you don't want it behind you. You should have actually a more subdued light, as a darker room.
I've heard people say, oh, I'm working at home, but I'm working in the kitchen and there's all natural sunlight. That's the wrong way to do it.
If glare is a problem,
Right.
and anybody's over 40 knows, you start to need specs and you're straining more. So glare's the number one thing.
Okay.
Now the monitor. The monitor is sort of, I would say, the biggest problem that people face. The monitor should be right below eye level. So if you
Oh,
hold,
I'm not even close.
you're not even close. If you hold your head straight and just hold it straight, and I use my tape
I got
measure.
to sit up straight too.
Yeah, no, you could just sit your normal.
Not slump.
So you're probably at least 8 inches above where your monitor should be. So what we'll do is, this is a simple fix you could do at home. Take
My first reaction was to cut the legs off the chair, but that's not the best way
Can't
to do
do
it.
it,
It turns
no.
into a Three Stooges thing at
Well,
that
then your
point.
hips aren't right. So we're going to put these
I've
books
lived
under
that
you,
for years.
and we're going to see if
All
we're
right.
closer. I think we're going to be closer. We'll try.
I actually
Okay.
see that it's the same screen, but it's more comfortable to look at.
Yeah,
All
and
right.
the top of the screen should be meeting your eyes. So you're still at a little bit of an angle, so I would even say if we raise that 1 more inch, you
Okay.
would probably be perfect,
So
okay?
well, here.
So we're going to raise it probably, oh, you're going to do that, 1 more inch.
Not my
That may
equipment.
throw you off kilter, so, okay. You
How's
don't want to
that?
do that at home, but better. What do you think, Dale? Better?
That's better, yeah.
Better,
That'll work?
okay.
Okay.
So how far away, I'll ask you a question, how far away do you think the monitor should be from you while you're working?
No further than this.
Okay, so
I
you,
mean,
is
what's
this
that,
a
maybe
comfortable?
18 inches.
Okay.
Any further than this, I'm going to have to go in and change fonts and, yeah.
Okay, so I'm looking,
That's more than 18 inches, isn't it?
well, Dale brought me, I think his great-great-great-grandfather's tape, so I can't even read it. Thanks, Dale, for that. Yeah, so let's see, you are,
I'm leaning into it like I'm trying to cheat the quiz.
2 feet.
2 feet?
Yep, so 24 inches.
Should I be farther or closer?
No, you're perfect actually. It should be between 18 and 28 inches.
Okay.
So you're looking pretty good where you are.
Sure.
Okay, so monitor placement is important. If you wear bifocals, some people are actually switching to transition lenses so they can look up in the far and down at their close. So you have your bifocals on the bottom, and some people have found that that is very helpful while working at home now, because you don't have to switch glasses, and you don't have to
you don't have to look under your glasses.
Exactly
and back and
right. And when you do that, you're tweaking your neck, you're changing your posture. Your posture needs to be upright, but you already know that. Shoulders back. And we'll talk about your chair. Your chair should have a good lumbar support. I know that people are using kitchen chairs, and they're using office chairs that...
Those high stools like what Dale's on right now.
Right.
Yeah.
And those kind of things over a long period of time can cause the conditions that we spoke of earlier. Because you're resting your elbows, you're looking down, your posture isn't perfect. It's those kinds of things that matter.
A friend of mine went through this about 6 months into the pandemic, had to go get a work chair.
Right.
How good are the cheap, I guess isn't the right word, but the inexpensive work chairs they put together? I'm not talking about gaming chairs, that's different.
Right.
But you see that this is a work chair.
Right.
Are those worth the semi-large amount of money?
Instead of looking at how much money it costs, you should look at features. So the chairs typically should have casters. You should not have a chair that doesn't have any mobility.
Right.
The clear under the casters is
the
probably
plastic thing,
best, because you don't want the friction from the carpet. You probably want a 5-pronged caster chair, so for
Easier to
ease of
scoot
rolling,
without
correct, without
over.
a lot of force and a lot of friction from the carpet or the floors.
And those are the things that are getting you into a quality office chair versus something that just kind of office-y looking.
Yeah, well, there's 2 more things that are instrumental. The lumbar support.
Is the
in the
lumbar
chair.
support, can you get away with the lumbar support just being a pad that gets clipped on at the end?
It's better to have something that's adjustable.
Okay.
So if it tilts, perhaps, but if it doesn't, probably not going to be comfortable in the long run.
Most of the ones I've seen, there's no tilt mechanism, it's just an extra pad.
Yeah, probably not.
Okay.
And then also armrests, 90 degrees. So you want your arms to be at 90 degrees at the arms. You don't want them to be too high. You don't want them to be too low. Right. If you're an elbow leaner and you lean on those armrests, you may trap that nerve and you start to get tingling in 1.5 of your fingers, your pinky and this part of your middle finger. So you need to be, or your ring finger.
Okay.
So you need to be careful about what you're using those armrests for, but you should have armrests on your office chair. And then take it, if you see it and it's together, take it for a little spin in the store, just back and forth, so you know how it rolls.
Till they throw you out.
All around the store.
You're racing 2 different models down the aisle.
Correct.
I would add one more in, adjustable seat height as well.
Oh, adjustable seat height. Correct.
Absolutely.
I was getting to that next. So
underneath.
Typically, from floor to where the top of the desk is, you should have between 25 and 34 inches.
Okay.
So let's see where we're at
Go ahead.
here. You see this tape measure I'm dealing with?
Dang, Dale.
I'm going to give Dale a look. Do you see that?
Okay. You're maybe
so you're
at 25?
24, 25,
Maybe.
about 25. So you're good. You're so about 25 inches.
Why does that feel much higher than usual when I work at home?
Well, at home, I don't know what you're sitting on, but you might have a cushioned chair. Okay.
I mean, that feels almost like I'm having to reach up at this point. But that's more...
That's ergonomically correct.
Doing this keeps me from having to get treatment for getting messed up.
I hope so.
I got you.
So you should have from the floor to the bottom of your desk between 25 and 34 inches.
Okay.
Okay? And so you should be resting comfortably. A good posture, you have the lumbar support, the caster chair, the armrest, you're looking good. Your monitor's looking pretty good. This should be meet your eye. Okay, so your eyes should be right here. And
where the camera can see me.
And you're on a surface that's at least 18 inches wide, which is what they recommend. Okay? Now, here's the issue. go ahead and reach up like you're typing. Okay.
Wow.
So if we held this here,
Yeah.
your hands are, would you say they're at 90 degrees at your elbow? Should be
No.
here. They're not. They're a
No,
little
not
higher.
even close.
And are they 90 degrees at your shoulder?
No.
Okay. They should be 0. They should be down here. So
They should be down
Well, this
here.
is 90 and this is 0.
All
Okay,
right.
that's what I call it. So you're slightly flexed at the shoulders. Okay, so you have some bending here, and you're reaching for the keyboard.
Yes.
So what we recommend is an actual keyboard. If you have a desktop, let's just start with that,
Okay.
down here in a drawer that pulls out.
Okay.
So when you're looking for a desk at home, if you have the undercarriage that supports the keyboard,
Yep.
that's the very best thing you can do for yourself.
So you've got the screen raised up to eye level, but you don't have to raise up to meet the keyboard because
Exactly
it's connected.
right.
Okay.
Now, some people prefer to use a mouse with their keyboard,
Mm-hmm.
and they do a lot of work with their mouse. So if you have a laptop where the keyboard is built in,
Mm-hmm.
what you can do is you can connect the mouse on your tray underneath.
Okay.
Because people do a lot of reaching like this, and they're sliding, and
I'm thinking how it is at home and the way I'm reaching over here.
right
Okay.
with the mouse.
Yes.
Okay. So some people put it in front of them and they're trapping
Mm-hmm.
their elbow. You really want that elbow free, and you want to be more at a 90-degree angle.
These are all simple things that
Yeah.
nobody has ever had to
You don't think a lot
recognize at
about
home.
it.
Okay.
Right. So if you're at 90 degrees here
Mm-hmm.
and you're working on a keyboard, now, I don't know technology very well, but you can get a keyboard also for a laptop.
Oh, yeah.
And so the very best thing for you to do is just to get a separate keyboard, a separate mouse, and an undercarriage tray. Now, say you don't have the tray. You don't.
Okay.
And you have a
you've
desk
got a
that you
kitchen
sit at.
table.
Or you have a desk like I do
Right.
that's a high-low desk
Okay.
that you just sit at. And my elbows are actually on the table. What you can do is with your separate keyboard, you can put it here below your computer so that you're at 90 degrees. So your computer is elevated, but your keyboard is not. And so how you want to be, Eddie, is like this, at 90 degrees with good posture.
This is where
Yes.
I would want to raise the chair up.
Yes.
Is that messing stuff up by doing that?
Can you
Or
raise the
would-
chair?
No.
So no, but you would raise the chair. You're actually looking pretty good. I know this feels high to
It
you
does.
because you're not used to it. But if you have a keyboard down here, so down here, you want to make sure
This
that
would
you're,
be perfectly
Yes.
fine.
yeah, you
this
want to make
doesn't
sure
feel
that your
uncomfortable.
wrists are neutral.
Okay.
They aren't like this, Eddie,
They're close.
and they aren't like this. So they're not extended too much. They're not flexed too much. You're
Okay.
looking really good. Your elbows, contrary to what everyone believes, need to be free. Because if you start moving a mouse on the table like this,
Who
and
says
you're-
elbows shouldn't be free?
a lot of people hold their mouse on like this,
Here,
and
let's
they
pretend
just
this-
rest it. Yep.
Oh,
They rest it.
They
Yep.
lay like the eye.
They
thing.
lay their elbow on the table and use the mouse all day long. Your elbow should be free.
And all they're doing is laying on the ulnar nerve and
That's right.
just repetitive motion back and forth.
Right. So this is what we get. This is what we hear. I don't know what happened. I started to work at home. All of a sudden, my fingers started to tingle. They didn't stop. It got
Right.
so much worse at night. I can't sleep. My neck hurts. What am I supposed to do?
What makes it worse at night? Your
you know-
body's trying to readjust back to the way that you shouldn't have put it from before?
Probably
or-
an inflammatory
It's
response
very
that happened throughout the course of the
inflamed
Just
by that
soreness.
time.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're working 8 hours, 12 hours, you go to bed, and all of a sudden that inflammation just takes off.
Right.
So you want to make sure that, you know, your space looks really good. So you look at things like lighting and proper monitor placement and the
Okay.
setup. So let me just tell you one more thing that I would recommend. So a lot of people dictate off of documents that are down here
Yes.
below the computer. So they're going like this.
Every day.
Yeah, every single day. What I would recommend is that you get a document holder, you clip it onto your computer, and your eyes just naturally travel lateral. Or you could put a document holder here in between your computer, your desktop,
Like that?
and your keyboard.
Okay.
And you could work at what's called a 35-degree angle.
So,
So your
straight
eyes are
across, I'm
35?
looking down 35 degrees.
Yeah, and you're not bending. Your posture isn't like this. You have those bifocals on, Eddie, and you're just going whoop, down and up, down and up. But I really like the ones that connect here because your posture stays the same. You're traveling your eyes just the way you can, and you're not doing a lot of bending and a lot of moving of the head. So how long should you rest? How frequent should you take rest breaks when you take them during the day?
Every 20 or 30 minutes. But most people, that doesn't happen.
They don't. They sit in meetings
Right.
or they're looking at in Zoom calls or their documents. So every 30 minutes is really what's recommended.
Now, what counts as take a break? Just stand
Pull
up and
away
walk
from the
around a
table,
little bit?
walk around,
Okay.
and we'll show you just a few exercises that help your neck and your wrists and your forearms and your area here, which is kind of instrumental in nerve conduction. And you want to make sure that, you do these things if you can.
Do companies recognize the benefit, the preventative benefit of this? I was talking earlier, people don't realize what they're doing by working at home and what changes. Do companies recognize it's a good thing to bring in an occupational therapist to have this talk? It's going to save us a lot more than it's going to cost us.
So for years and years, companies have recognized it, but they recognize it in their work environment. I don't know that companies have recognized that they're having their employees work at home. And this is a new work environment. And I don't know that a lot of companies have picked up on that this new work environment is causing neck pain and low back issues that are costing them, their employees, having to go to the doctor, having to go to therapist because the issue has now become symptomatic and becoming a chronic issue that has to be dealt with. The preventative issue is something that we're trying to educate as much as possible because that's really our goal, is to prevent the issues from occurring.
Right.
And we can prevent the issues from occurring with good education about the home office ergonomic assessment program that we have, making sure people are set up properly in their home, making sure they understand how they need to do some regular stretching, and mini stretch breaks is what we call them, exercises throughout the course of the day to prevent this from becoming a problem. Because it has become a problem. We've already seen it happening. Doctors' offices, like I said, are calling and saying, we're seeing this more.
Right.
We're definitely seeing an influx of this. What can we do about it? And that's the purpose of this program. It's a preventative program to respond to the problem of people working from home and the issues with low back and neck pain that are increasing because of that.
And that's not going to go away. There are going to be people that will never not work from home at this point in some occupations.
Sounds like that at this point in time. I mean, even employers that have said, we're ready for you to come back to the office, they're not coming back 5 days a week. They're slowly bringing them back 1 or 2 days a week. So there's still a lot of work from home going on.
All right, we've got a couple minutes left. What exercises are you going to teach me?
I'm going to teach you a few easy ones.
Good call.
The most important ones, I think, are the wrist ones. So you want to make sure that you get enough time to do some extension in your wrists and also some flexion. And you're just stretching, and that's giving your median nerve underneath a chance to just extend out of the repetitive position that you're in. You always want to go opposite.
Like a claw.
So just like that, you want to go opposite. So I'm a big proponent of just manual stretching. Okay?
Best exercise ever. You don't got to get out of your chair.
Easy. The one I also like is this one where you stretch out. And you'll feel your forearm stretching, and that's a really nice exercise to get your ulnar nerve released.
Feel like a crossing guard.
Yes, well then you'll like this one, covering your ears. That's a good one.
It's 1/3 of the monkey statue, right?
Right. And if I went behind you and I put your elbows where they actually belonged.
Well, I can't hear you right now, so go ahead and do it.
You would feel such a stretch, you wouldn't even know it hit you. Yeah. So that's where you belong.
No,
He's pretty pliable.
You don't hear that from strangers that
You're
often.
in pretty good shape. You're pretty pliable. Okay. Another one is your neck.
All right.
So you're just going to...
Something just popped.
Oh, that's...
I mean, it didn't. I like that. No, I'm OT.
Yeah.
He's PT.
You just... No, you blame him. It's his show, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So ear to ear.
Yeah.
And just give yourself a little bit of a manual stretch.
I like this.
And the last two are super easy. Just stretch your fingers.
Really simplified jazz hands.
Yeah, exactly right. You can even do jazz hands if you want.
Okay.
I'll turn my head because I don't want to see that.
That's not bad.
You can do that.
All right.
And then the last one is just to give your eyes a break. Just cover your eyes. 10 seconds. Close your eyes. Give them a break from that screen.
Mm-hmm.
And while you're on a Zoom call, if your camera's off or, you're taking a break, get up and walk it around. And just stretch your back and really just try to, a lot of this for the
There's
shoulders.
more popping going on
That's
now.
me. That was me.
That was you.
So those are just really simple suggestions that could save you a short course of therapy. And to answer your question, about $22.5 billion are spent on workman's comp injuries a year. So people are missing work an average of 21 days.
Is that when, if it's a comp case, it's average of 3 weeks? Well, 21
about 3
days.
weeks for minimal comp cases. But
Yeah.
for some of the larger ones, it could be months and months and months. Yeah.
And
anything repetitive. And this goes for kids who do a lot of gaming too.
Right.
We're seeing more kids
carpal
with
tunnel,
neck,
gamer's wrist.
arthritis in their thumb joints, their
Wow.
CMC joints, and also neck and back pain. So I set both of my boys up on their systems
And-
perfectly. They weren't happy about it, but they do it.
There's no way a beanbag chair is ever going to be
Nope.
considered a proper part of a system.
No.
Okay.
No love sacks. Okay.
All right.
Couple of bucks. Yep.
Keep in mind, if you do need this program, if you're having any active neck or back pain, it is
Or
covered
wrist
under
or
your
elbow.
insurance. You don't need a doctor's referral to come to see us. So you can just give us a call. You can give us a call at the MRS Physical Therapy office, which is in the heart of Bridgewater. That number is 724-728-7550. Or you can call us at the Cranberry office, Cranberry Physical Therapy. That office number is 724-591-8121. And we'd be happy to help you out with our new program.
Happy to help you
It was
out.
wonderful. Dale, as always, Dale Reckless and Kelly McCarran have been my guests today, the first hour of Teleforum. I feel pliable.
You're very pliable.
News is next. It's Teleforum on Beaver County Radio.
Now that we've gotten past Thanksgiving, it's time to really get your holiday planning going. Don't waste any time because Aliquippa Giant Eagle has everything you'll need to make this holiday the best one ever. Wait, did somebody say Yule? As in Yuletide greetings? This is the Christmas season now, so that's probably appropriate. Anyhow, there we go again. You'll just love the selection of baked goods, holiday hams and roast, fresh holiday and floral arrangements, poinsettias, a huge selection of party trays, cheese trays, and fruit trays at Aliquippa Giant Eagle. Check out Beaver County's best selection of fresh seafood. Plus, save a trip to the Strip because Aliquippa Giant Eagle will custom order any seafood you want. Aliquippa Giant Eagle also has a full selection of beer and wine. While you are there, do your gift-giving shopping at Aliquippa Giant Eagle with one of the largest selection of gift cards available anywhere in Beaver County. Visit Aliquippa Giant Eagle in the Green Garden Plaza.